My dear friends, I want to thank you for being here today. I don't believe it's by accident that you've come. I believe it's by divine appointment. Because the message I bring to you today, this message is not just another speech. It's not just another gathering. This message, if you will open your heart, can change your life forever. Now, I'm not talking about change the way the world talks about it. I'm not talking about fleeting motivation or feel-good inspiration. I'm talking about a transformation. I'm talking about something that grips your soul, shakes your spirit, and leads you down a road you've never walked before, a road of purpose, of hope, of truth. You may have walked in here feeling empty, confused, tired, or even numb, but my friend, listen to me. There is power in truth. There is hope in the light. And there is life-changing power in what you are about to hear. So I ask you, not just to listen with your ears, but to open your heart, because this message will change your life. Some of you may have walked into this room today thinking it was just another day. Maybe you were invited by a friend, or maybe you saw a flyer or a post on social media. Maybe you came out of curiosity, or maybe you don't even know why you're here at all. But I want to tell you something that goes beyond coincidence, something that reaches into eternity. You are not here by accident. This moment right now was written long before you were born. It was ordained, it was planned, and it was prepared, not by man, but by God Himself. There is a divine appointment on your life. God knew the exact day, the exact time, the exact place. He knew you'd be sitting in that very seat, hearing these very words, and more than that, He knew the condition of your heart. He knew the questions you've been asking in the silence of your soul. He knew the doubts, the fears, the longings, and the ache that you've tried to hide from the world. You see, God isn't far away. He's not some distant figure in the sky watching history unfold from afar. Oh, my friend, He is near. He is close. And He has been reaching out to you in ways you may not have even recognized. Every moment of your life, every high, every low, every triumph, every tear has brought you to this point. It might have looked like random chance. It might have felt like chaos, but behind it all, there has been a hand guiding, a voice calling, and a love pursuing you. You were not just born, you were sent into this world with purpose, with potential, with a destiny that goes far beyond what this world could ever offer you. Maybe you've spent years feeling invisible. Maybe you've walked through life wondering if you matter, if your story matters. You've questioned whether you have anything to offer. Maybe you've even believed the lie that your life is just a mistake, an accident of biology or circumstance. But let me tell you something that breaks every one of those lies. You were made on purpose, for a purpose. Before your first breath, God saw you. He knit you together with intention. He formed your mind, your spirit, your heart, not by chance, but with divine craftsmanship. You were created in the image of God, and He does not make mistakes. You were born with gifts, talents, and callings uniquely designed for you. There is no one else like you, not in this room, not in this world, not in the pages of history. You are one of a kind, and you carry something this world needs, something God placed inside you before you even knew who He was. I believe some of you have felt a pull, a sense that there must be more to life than just waking up, going to work, paying bills, and going through the motions. That tug in your soul is not confusion. It's not aimlessness. It's the whisper of purpose. It's the voice of God saying, "Come to me, and I will show you why you are here." You weren't made just to exist. You were made to live fully, eternally. And maybe you're thinking, but I've made too many mistakes. I've strayed too far. My past disqualifies me. But I want you to hear this clearly. Your past does not cancel your purpose. In fact, sometimes it's the very pain, the very struggle, the very darkness you've walked through that prepares you for the light. God doesn't waste anything. He uses every broken piece, every shattered dream, every scar to write a story of redemption. And that story, your story, is not finished yet. So no matter who you are, no matter where you've been, no matter what you've done, you are not forgotten. You are not an accident. You are not just a face in the crowd. You are chosen. You are seen. You are called. And the very fact that you are here right now proves that God has something to say to you, something to give you, and something to awaken within you. You are here for a reason that is greater, higher, and more beautiful than you've ever imagined. There is a deep hunger in every human soul, a longing not just for comfort or success or even happiness, but for truth. We live in a world filled with noise, with opinions, with distractions and deception. We are surrounded by voices telling us what to think, how to live, who to be. And in the midst of it all, many of us are searching for something real, something unshakable, something that doesn't change with the seasons or bend under pressure. We are searching for truth. Truth is not an idea, it's not a trend, it's not something we manufacture or customize to fit our preferences. Truth is eternal. Truth is powerful. Truth is a person. And that person is Jesus Christ, who once said, "You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Now let's think about that word, free. Many of us live in places that talk about freedom, that sing about freedom, that claim to value it. But despite all the talk, there are people all around us, maybe even you, sitting here right now, who are anything but free. You may not be behind prison bars, but you're held captive by fear. You may not wear chains, but you're burdened by guilt and shame. You may walk with your head high, but inside you're weary and weighed down by secrets and sorrow. The truth doesn't come to shame you. It doesn't come to condemn you. The truth comes to rescue you. It comes to set you free from the lies you've believed about yourself, about your worth, about your future. The truth reveals who you really are, who God created you to be and what He says about you, not what the world says, not what your past says, not even what your feelings say. For too long, some of you have been believing falsehoods, lies that say you're not enough, lies that say you'll never change, lies that say you've gone too far, failed too badly, sinned too deeply. But the truth, God's truth, speaks a different word. It says you are loved with an everlasting love. It says you are forgiven. It says you were worth dying for. It says your chains can be broken, your past can be redeemed, and your life can have purpose again. But here's the thing about truth. It demands a response. You can hear it, nod at it, even admire it, but unless you receive it, unless you believe it, it won't change you. The truth has power, but it only sets you free when you accept it into your heart and let it do its work. Some of us have been running from truth because it's uncomfortable. It asks us to face ourselves. It asks us to let go of pride, to surrender control, to confront sin and pain we've buried deep. But let me tell you something. It is better to face the painful truth than to live comfortably in a lie, because the truth, no matter how sharp it feels at first, leads to healing. It leads to life. It leads to freedom, the kind of freedom this world can't offer and can't take away. Truth breaks the power of addiction. Truth shatters the grip of depression. Truth speaks peace in the middle of chaos. And truth brings light into the darkest corners of the human soul. You don't have to keep pretending. You don't have to keep hiding. You don't have to keep carrying the weight of your past. The truth has come near to you today, and it is calling you out of the shadows. So many of us think freedom is found in doing whatever we want, living however we please, answering to no one. But true freedom, the kind that brings peace and joy and security, is found in knowing the one who made you, trusting him, and walking in the truth of his word. It is only when we come into the light that we begin to see clearly, and it is only when we know the truth that we are finally, truly, and eternally free. We live in a world that is obsessed with the outside. Everywhere you look, people are trying to change how they look, how they dress, how they sound, how they're perceived. We've got filters for our photos, masks for our feelings and highlight, reels for our lives. The world says if you want to change your life, change your image, change your job, change your surroundings, change the people around you. But let me tell you something. Real change doesn't start out there. It starts in here, deep within the heart. You can fix your hair, your house, your habits, but if your heart is still broken, nothing has truly changed. You can gain the applause of men, wear the finest clothes, drive the nicest car, climb the ladder of success, but if you're empty inside, if your soul is sick, if your spirit is restless, then all that change on the outside is just a cover. It's like painting over a cracked wall. It looks good for a moment, but sooner or later the truth will show through. You see, God isn't interested in surface-level change. He's not impressed by our appearances, our accomplishments, or our performances. He looks straight through all of that, straight into the heart, because that's where the real battle is. That's where the wounds are. That's where the pride lives. That's where fear hides. And that's where the power of God begins its work. Real change begins when something deep inside of you says, I can't do this on my own anymore. When you get tired of pretending, when you realize that you need something more than a fresh start, you need a new heart. That's not something you can do for yourself. You can't heal yourself. You can't save yourself. You can't cleanse yourself from the inside out. But there is one who can. Jesus Christ doesn't just come to rearrange your life. He comes to transform it. When he comes in, he doesn't start with the outside. He starts with the soul. He touches the places nobody else can reach. He begins to shift your thoughts, your desires, your identity. He removes bitterness. He breaks addictions. He softens what was hardened. He gives hope where there was despair. That's the kind of change the world can't offer and no self-help book can produce. It's a supernatural work, a divine miracle that begins in the secret place of your heart and radiates outward into every part of your life. And the beautiful thing about this kind of change is that you don't have to fake it. You don't have to force it. You don't have to perform for it. All you have to do is surrender. Open your heart and let God begin the work. It may not be flashy, it may not be instant, but it will be real. And real change, lasting change, is worth everything. I've seen people try for years to fix their lives with money, with relationships, with status, with distraction. And I've watched those same people break down when none of it worked. Because no matter how much you dress up a broken heart, it's still broken. No matter how many smiles you show the world, if there's pain behind your eyes, eventually it shows. But I've also seen what happens when a person invites God into the center of their soul. I've seen hardened hearts melt. I've seen angry men become gentle. I've seen hopeless women find purpose. I've seen addicts walk in freedom. I've seen people who were once lost suddenly found. That kind of transformation doesn't come from the outside in. It comes from the inside out. So I say to you today, don't settle for surface change. Don't chase temporary fixes. Don't cover the cracks with cosmetics and call it healing. Let God dig deep. Let Him peel back the layers. Let Him in to do the work only He can do. Because when He changes the inside, everything else begins to change too. Your relationships change, your thoughts change, your decisions change, your destiny changes. Not because you forced it, but because you were made new from the inside. There is something within. Every person, a quiet voice, a deep stirring that whispers, you were made for more. You might have heard that voice late at night when the world was silent and your thoughts were loud. Maybe you felt it in moments of stillness or pain or longing, a sense that your life isn't just a string of days or a collection of random events, but that there is meaning woven into your very existence. How do you do that? That sense isn't just emotion. It's not just a thought. That's the echo of your calling. You see, before you ever took your first breath, before anyone knew your name, God had a plan for your life. He didn't create you just to exist, to survive, to get by. He didn't put you on this earth just to work a job, pay your bills, and wait for the end. No, my friend, you were called. You were appointed. There is a divine purpose stitched into your soul, a purpose that only you can fulfill. And I want to tell you, it's greater than you've imagined. It's not limited by your background, your education, your family, or your past. It's not held back by your mistakes, your weaknesses, or the opinions of others. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And when He calls you, no power in hell and no voice on earth can cancel what He has declared over your life. Some of you have disqualified yourselves in your own mind. You've said, God couldn't use someone like me. I'm not special. I'm not strong. I've failed too many times. But let me remind you, Moses had a stutter, yet he delivered a nation. David was a shepherd boy, forgotten by his own family, yet God made him a king. Peter denied Christ, but God used him to build His church. Don't you see? The calling on your life isn't about your ability. It's about your availability. Will you say yes? The enemy would love for you to believe that your life has no meaning, that you're just another face in the crowd, that you're too ordinary, too broken, too far gone. But the devil is a liar. And I'm here to remind you that you carry divine significance. There is something God has placed inside of you that this world desperately needs. Your voice, your story, your testimony, they matter. You may not see the full picture now. You may not feel important. But the God who made you sees the end from the beginning. And He knows exactly what He's doing. Your calling may not be on a stage. It may not look like anyone else's. But it is just as powerful, just as holy, just as necessary. Whether you're a teacher, a builder, a mother, a student, a servant, wherever you are planted, there is purpose in that place. God calls some to reach nations and others to reach neighbors. He calls some to preach from pulpits and others to love behind the scenes. And each calling matters, every single one. But listen, walking in your calling is not always easy. It requires faith. It requires surrender. It requires trust in the one who called you. There will be days when the path seems unclear, when the obstacles seem too great, when you feel like giving up. But I promise you, if God started the work, He will finish it. If He called you, He will equip you. And if He has a purpose for you, and He does, then nothing can stop what He has already ordained. So I ask you today, will you answer the call? Will you stop running from the weight of your purpose and start walking in it? Will you stop settling for less when you were made for more? The world doesn't need more copies. It needs the real, authentic, called version of you. God created you for this time, for this generation, for this moment. You are not an accident. You are not average. You are anointed. And when you begin to step into the calling God has placed on your life, you won't just change. You'll begin to change everything around you. There are moments in life when we feel so far gone, so weighed down, so wrapped up in our failures and regrets that we wonder if there's any way back. Maybe you've found yourself in that place. A place where hope feels like a memory, where peace seems out of reach, and where you've questioned if anyone could ever truly see you, much less save you. But I want to speak to that part of you today. The part that's tired, the part that's hurting, the part that thinks it's too late. Because the truth is this: you are never too lost to be found. There's not a single soul too broken for God to restore. Not a single heart too shattered for Him to heal. Not a single life too far gone for His grace to reach. You could be in the darkest place. You could have run as far as your legs and your heart could carry you, and still God would find you there. Because His love is not passive. His love is pursuing. His love doesn't sit back and wait for you to get it together. His love runs after you when you're at your lowest. Some of you have been living under a cloud of guilt. You've made decisions you regret, said words you can't take back, hurt people you love, or walked down paths you wish you'd never taken. And maybe somewhere along the way you started to believe the lie that you've disqualified yourself, that you've messed up too badly, that God must have moved on. But I'm here to tell you, with every ounce of truth I know, He hasn't moved on from you. He hasn't given up. He hasn't turned away. In fact, He's been right there, walking the road with you, even when you didn't see Him. Jesus told the story of a shepherd who had 100 sheep, and when just one went missing, He didn't say, well, at least I still have 99. No. He left the 99 and went searching for that one lost sheep. And when He found it, He didn't scold it. He didn't shame it. He lifted it onto His shoulders and carried it home, rejoicing all the way. That is the heart of God. That is how He feels about you. You may feel lost, but you are not abandoned. And maybe you're thinking, you don't know what I've done. And you're right. I don't. God does. He knows every detail, every moment, every failure. And still He says, come home. His grace is greater than your sin. His mercy is deeper than your past. His forgiveness is stronger than your shame. The cross of Jesus Christ wasn't just for the good, the polished, the religious. It was for the lost. It was for you. And when Jesus hung there with arms stretched wide, it wasn't just an act of sacrifice. It was a declaration: you are worth finding. You are worth saving. You are worth dying for. You don't have to climb your way back to Him. You don't have to earn your way into His love. All you have to do is turn. That's it. Just turn. Turn your heart back toward Him. Even if it's just a whisper. Even if it's just a single breath saying, God, I need you. That is enough to set heaven in motion. The moment you turn, you'll realize He's already there. He's not far off. He's been waiting, watching, ready to wrap you in grace and remind you who you really are. Not what your past says, not what the world says, but what He says. Beloved, chosen, redeemed, found. I've met people who were lost in addiction, drowning in grief, angry at the world, angry at God. And I've watched as their hearts were melted by the love of Christ. I've seen men and women who thought they were beyond saving fall into the arms of grace and rise up changed forever. That's not emotion, that's redemption. That's not hype, that's hope. And it's not just for a few, it's for you. So no matter how far you've run, no matter how long you've been gone, you are not too lost to be found. God knows exactly where you are, and more than that, He knows who you are, and He's calling you back, not to punish you, not to shame you, but to bring you home. Beat. We live in a world that teaches us to grip tighter, to plan harder, to strive more. From a young age, we are taught that if we want something, we've got to take control. We've got to push. We've got to climb. We've got to make it happen. And while there is value in diligence, there's a danger in the illusion that we are in charge of everything. Because the truth is, no matter how talented we are, how smart we are, how strategic we are, our control is limited. Life can change in a heartbeat. The ground beneath us can shift without warning. And the more we try to cling to control, the more anxious, exhausted, and discouraged we become. That's because we were never designed to carry it all. You were never meant to. Bear the full weight of your future, your family, your finances, your failures. You were never meant to control outcomes, force doors open, or manipulate circumstances to make things go your way. You were created not to control, but to trust, not to force, but to follow. And there is a deep peace that begins to rise in the heart when we realize that God can do more with our surrender than we could ever do with our control. Surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. Surrender is not giving up, it's giving over. It is saying, God, I'm tired of driving this life on my own. I'm tired of trying to play God. I'm tired of pretending I have all the answers. I'm putting the keys back in your hands. And when we do that, we discover something extraordinary. The one who takes the wheel is not just capable, he is loving, he is powerful, he is good. He is not surprised by your situation. He's not intimidated by your storm. He's not confused by your questions. He sees the road ahead when you don't, and he can take what you release to him and turn it into something you never dreamed possible. The story of Scripture is filled with people who surrendered everything and saw miracles as a result. Abraham surrendered his plans, and God gave him a promise. Moses surrendered his fear, and God used him to part the sea. Esther surrendered her comfort, and God used her to save a nation. And Jesus, our perfect example, surrendered his will in the garden, saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." And through his surrender, salvation came to the world. We often hold back because we're afraid of losing control, afraid God won't come through, afraid that surrender will lead to pain or to disappointment. But listen, whatever you lay at the feet of Jesus is never wasted. It might not come back the way you expect. It might not happen on your timeline, but God always honors surrender. He meets it with mercy. He answers it with grace. He multiplies what we place in his hands. Some of you have been clinging to things too tightly. You've been trying to control relationships, outcomes, opportunities, even your image. You've prayed, yes, but you haven't let go. And deep down you know it. You've asked God to move, but you've kept your hands on the steering wheel. It's time to release it. It's time to say, God, I don't want to just invite you into my plans. I want your plan. I'm not just asking you to bless my direction. I'm giving you the map. There is power in that kind of surrender. There is peace in knowing the outcome isn't your burden to carry. There is strength in stepping aside and letting God be God. It's not easy. It requires faith. But I promise you, God can do more in 5 seconds of surrendered obedience than you could do in 50 years of striving. He opens doors no man can shut. He makes a way where there is no way. He brings beauty from ashes and purpose from pain. Letting go isn't the end, it's the beginning of a new kind of freedom, a new kind of purpose, a new kind of life where the weight is lifted and your heart is free. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to fix it all. You just have to say, yes, Lord, I trust you. I give it to you. And when you do, you'll find what you've been looking for all along. Not control, but peace. Not striving, but rest. Not your plan, but something far better. For too long, people have mistaken Christianity for a list of rules. They've thought it was about rituals, about going through motions, about trying to be good enough, clean enough, proper enough. They've looked at churches and seen buildings filled with people acting like they have it all together, and they've said, that's not for me. I'm not religious. But I'm here to tell you something that could change your life. The message of Jesus Christ is not about religion, it's about relationship. It's not about you trying to get to God. It's about God coming down to you. Religion says, earn it, prove yourself, try harder, do more. But relationship says, come as you are. Religion builds ladders and tells you to climb. Relationship tears the veil and says, it is finished. Jesus didn't come to start a new system or build an empire of rituals. He came to restore what was lost, connection with the Father. When he walked this earth, he didn't avoid the broken. He didn't push away the sinner. He didn't build a wall between the holy and the hurting. He walked right into people's mess and said, follow me. He sat at tables with the outcasts. He touched lepers. He forgave prostitutes. He looked at tax collectors and fishermen and said, you're not just someone with a past, you're someone with a future. And he didn't give them a manual or a checklist. He gave them himself. Because real transformation doesn't come from following a formula. It comes from knowing the one who made you. That's the power of the gospel. It's not about behavior modification. It's about heart transformation. When you encounter Jesus, something changes inside. You begin to desire what he desires. You begin to walk in his peace, his love, his purpose, not because you're trying to earn his approval, but because you already have it. That's the difference between religion and relationship. One says, if I do enough, maybe God will love me. The other says, because God loves me, I want to follow him. This relationship with Christ is not reserved for the holy, the elite, the ones who seem to have it all figured out. It's for the broken, the weary, the doubting, the desperate. It's for the person who's been hurt by church, the one who never felt like they belonged. It's for the man who thinks he's gone too far. It's for the woman who feels like she's not enough. It's for you. And it's available right now, not through religious performance, but through a surrendered heart. Some of you have been running. You've been trying to fill the emptiness with everything the world offers. Money, relationships, distractions, success. But nothing satisfies, because what your soul is longing for is not found in religion, it's found in Jesus. And he's not waiting for you to clean yourself up. He's not demanding that you perform. He's simply saying, come to me, talk to me, walk with me, let me show you who you really are. A relationship with Christ is alive, it's personal, it's daily. It means you don't have to hide your doubts, your pain, or your questions. It means you can bring your whole self to the table and find love instead of judgment, healing instead of shame, grace instead of guilt. It means you are never alone, because the one who formed the stars knows your name and calls you his own. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to pretend. You just have to be willing to open the door. Scripture says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." That's Jesus. He's not banging down the door. He's not forcing his way in. He's simply waiting for your invitation. And when you say yes to him, you don't get a religion, you get a redeemer. You don't get rules, you get relationship. A living, breathing, ongoing walk with the Savior of your soul. This is the message that changes everything. It changes how you see yourself, how you see God, how you see your purpose, your pain, your past, your future. Because when you realize you were never meant to follow a cold system of religion, you were made for relationship with the living God, then suddenly your heart comes alive. You don't have to reach for heaven. Heaven has already reached for you.